Have you ever noticed how the language around autism has been shifting over the years? In the past, we used to say Asperger's, and then we switched to high functioning or low functioning. And nowadays, it's all about support level. So why do these terms keep changing? And is it actually helpful, or is it just confusing? Well, stick with me, because by the end of this video, you're not only going to be able to understand the history behind all these changes, but why these changes matter to autistic people and their families. So let's first go over why Asperger's is no longer used. So Asperger's was its own diagnosis in the DSM-4. But in 2013, the DSM-5 combined Asperger syndrome, autistic disorder, and PDD-NOS into one term, autism spectrum disorder. So why did they do that? Well, the research was showing that there wasn't a clear boundary between these different categories. So the researchers decided to combine them into a spectrum. And this is why if you're an adult and you were diagnosed with Asperger syndrome when you were younger, and your child has autism spectrum disorder nowadays, that's the reason why. So now let's talk about high versus low functioning and why people use these labels. Well, to be honest, people use them just as a quick shorthand. But it's obviously very harmful because it oversimplifies what's going on with that individual. When labeled as high functioning, it often ignores the struggles that that person is going through, such as masking or the different sensory sensitivities that they're experiencing on a daily basis. And when labeling someone as low functioning, it often ignores all of their strengths and autonomy and dignity. And this is why the DSM-5 shifted to support needs instead. And the thing about these functioning labels, it doesn't tell you how the individual is functioning on a daily basis. So now let's get into why these support levels exist. So in the DSM-5, there's 3 different support levels. There's level 1, level 2, and level 3. Level 1 is requiring support. Level 2, substantial support, and level 3, very substantial support. The goal of that was to focus on support needs, not to focus on if someone is more or less autistic. But even with this, there's a lot of family and folks that still find this very controversial. There's some families that find that it gets them extra support and that they identify with it. And there's others that feel very boxed in when using these different numbers. And I do want to say to you that you are more than just a number. So now that we're using these different levels of support, does that mean that the language around autism and support needs are just going to stay the same now? Not necessarily, and more than likely, no. And the other thing about this, and I've even seen this in the comment section down below, so where in the UK, the National Health Service doesn't use support levels. They just call it autism spectrum. And this difference can make international conversations about autism difficult at times. But the one thing that stays the same is that autism is diverse and support is individualized. If you're finding this video helpful, go ahead and hit that like button so more people can see it. And subscribe. That way you can see more videos on autism, autism evaluations, and get more up-to-date research on autism-related subjects. I post videos every week, and go ahead and feel free to comment down below. What did you hear first? Was it Asperger syndrome? Was it high or low functioning? Or have you been hearing the different levels of autism? Go ahead and share it. So now let's talk about where we are nowadays. Currently, the autism community is really pushing for language to focus on strengths and challenges and not box people in. And many self-advocates prefer identity-first language, such as I'm autistic, versus going with a clinical label. And the thing is, clinical language will likely evolve over time as research and advocacy shift and grow. So the next time you hear a new autism term, it's not just wordplay, it's science, community, and society growing with one another to use different terms that become more accurate over time. So if you want to take a deeper dive on how autism levels tend to change over time in one's own lifetime, and they can go up and down, go ahead and check out this video over here. All right, I'll see you there. Bye-bye.